Who is Courtney Simmons? Well, obviously we know her as the Grambling State women's basketball head coach. But how did she get here? Why is she here? How is a first-time head coach so successful in a matter of just 2 years? I sat down with the woman herself to discuss how a childhood dream became a reality.
I knew in the 6th grade that I wanted to be a coach. I got invited to Adidas camp, and I was going into my 6th grade year. And we were in the gym, and we were just warming up, getting ready to play. And I saw all these people sitting along the sideline. And so I asked the coach that was coaching our group at the Adidas camp, and I was like, who are all those people? Because I knew I was talented. I just didn't know at the time how good I really was. And they were like, yeah, those are college coaches for different basketball teams. Like, they're here to recruit y'all. And I was like, so they do this for a living? And he was like, yeah, they get paid to sit in the gym all day and watch basketball. I said, that's what I want to do.
The vision was formed, but it didn't have a blueprint yet, until it did, with the hand from her college coach and some tough love from Grandma.
Going into my senior year, Jeff Walls was my head coach at Louisville, and he was like, what do you want to do after the year? We can get you contracts to go play here. I was like, I want to be a coach. And he was like, girl, you can still play. Like, you ought to go, just try to play for a year or two just to say you did. And I was like, no, I want to be a coach. I want to be the coach that I didn't have. He was like, wait, what? And I was like, I want to get into coaching. And so he signed me up for the So You Want to Be a Coach program. My grandmother made me 200, I'll never forget this, she made me 250 business cards on Shutterfly. I don't even know if people still use Shutterfly. And she said, don't come home with a single card, because when you get done and you graduate from Louisville, you can't come here. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, you can't come home.
But with a pocket full of 250 cards and a dream, she went right to work.
I stood at the host hotel, and I passed out all 250 of those business cards. Gino Oriema, Pat Summit, Muppet McGraw, I didn't care who it was. I'm passing out these business cards. And I get down to my last card. The elevator doors open, and out walks Errol Rogers, who at the time was the head coach, the Cajuns down at UL Lafayette. And he says, Courtney Simmons, what you doing standing at the elevator, girl? I said, I had to wait for you so I can give you my business card. And he was like, wait, Shutterfly, who made these for you? I said, my grandma. So I'm telling him the whole story, and we're laughing. And he was like, man, God works in mysterious ways. He's like, I have an opening on my staff.
After grasping the dream of becoming a coach, she was in for a shock for the first lesson she experienced.
First day I was like, okay, what you want me to do? He was like, figure it out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, figure it out. The best thing that I could do for you was not tell you how to do anything and force you to figure it out on your own.
One of her next stops in her journey led her from the south to the north of Louisiana, taking up a seat on WNBA Hall of Famer and La Tech legend Teresa Weatherspoon's staff. This is where she learned how to buckle down and go hard at being the best.
I think Spoon taught me how to be a grinder. I think the biggest thing that she does, she's always gonna grind. Like, she knows one thing, and that's go hard. Come on, Jasmine, get coach, Jasmine. She showed me and she told me what it takes in order to be successful, and you have to work your way through the struggles. And I think just learning from her and watching her grind and still just push through, and even when people didn't think you could do it, she found a way to get it done. Being one of the first women to even step into the world of the NBA. But now Dawn Staley may have a chance to go and be a head coach in the NBA. And so I feel like she showed me the way to break down doors for people that are coming behind me. None of us got here on our own. Somebody pulled us up with them.
After her time with the Lady Texters was up, she took a detour away from her home to Sweet Home, Alabama with Troy. She helped build 3 Sun Belt champions and 3 trips to the big dance in the NCAA tournament. But after 10 years, it was time to move 6 inches down the bench to become a head coach. But it had to be at the right moment from the right person.
When I went on an interview for the head job at Southern University, Dr. Scott was the assistant AD at Southern University, and he walks me out after the interview and he said, man, you killed that, but I hope you don't get the job. And I'm like clutching my pearls. I'm like, wait, I can hear you. He was like, I know. He said, because one day I'm going to be an AD, and if you get the job here, they never going to let you go. But if you stay where you are and I get the AD job, I'm coming to get you. And even if you're not at Troy, wherever you are, I'm coming to get you, because you're ready right now. But the timing is just not right.
Dr. Travion Scott arrived to the G in 2021 and he kept his promise in 2023.
When he called me, he said, Courtney Simmons, you ready to be a head coach? And I just laughed. He was like, why you laughing? I said, because I literally had a conversation with my grandmother yesterday, and I said, the next AD that calls me that has enough guts to take a chance on a first-time, first-year head coach, I don't care where it is, I'm going. But I would love it to be close to home.
The new head women's basketball coach of your GSU Lady Tigers, Coach Courtney Simmons.
And then the next day, 24 hours later, he calls me. So I tell my kids all the time, my players, that the mouth is a powerful tool. You can speak things in and out of existence. At my press conference, somebody asked me why Grambling, and I said, why not Grambling? Grambling chose me long before I chose it.
Covering Grambling State women's basketball, I'm Jeremy Bryant.